Oh, I think it's a complete waste of time. Instead of actually talking about, I think you hit it perfectly, instead of doing things that actually help Americans, they're wasting American tax dollars on a complete sham. We have USMCA that's been sitting on Nancy Pelosi's desk for months. It's been just waiting to be put on the House floor, but they're so busy hating the president that they can't get anything done. I think what they're doing is a complete disgrace, and I think everybody loses in this process. I'm hopeful that they wrap it up soon and we can get back to real business, but I think it shows us exactly what the Democrats are all about. They have no message, they have no strategy. In 2020, President Trump is going to be reelected, and they're going to be wrong all over again. And I think they have to get used to it.
Someone quite enjoyed that comment, Katrina.
I mean, Sarah's right. You know, we were in those trenches a long time ago. But I'd like to add a couple of things to your opening statement, which was spot on, by the way. So not only have we learned that there was no quid pro quo for aid, not one single person that testified has said there was a crime. And the final thing is, what we learned is how the deep state is real. We've seen a slew of bureaucrats, unelected people who were appalled that the elected president of the United States chose his own people to talk about his policy on the ground in the Ukraine. And what is so absurd about all of this is their feelings were hurt, that he wasn't doing things the way they wanted him to, and he chose people above them to handle it. It was the Ukrainians that alleged the corruption of the Bidens. The president was well within his right to ask the incoming Ukrainian president to tell us what's going on with this. And the way that Nancy Pelosi and Adam Shifty Schiff has handled this is truly a detriment to American society, because the American people can now see and hear exactly what the Democrats have been doing, and it's nothing but to divide America.
That's right. That's such a good point. I mean, I was noticing that as well. And, you know, as I've said this before, you know, having worked inside government, you just see these civil servants who genuinely believe that they are the representatives of the national interest. And as I've said before, it was the former British Prime Minister Tony Blair who told me that you've got to understand that they see it as their duty to block and frustrate the elected politicians and wait them out because they're the ones who really know what they're doing. But Sean, I just wanted to ask you about the way that the media just is sort of fanning all this, and where they jump on everything and say, devastating, another devastating day for the president.
I think it's interesting because what we've gone from is a media that informs to a media that decides. When you look at the clips that you played before, there's no wonder when I see a poll that says this many people believe this, because if you ask a question a certain way, you're going to get a certain answer. And if you watch most outlets, with the exclusion of Fox and a handful of others, you hear a very one-sided view. You saw in the clip you played these montages, and it's not just this instance, it's over and over on various different instances, whether it's the economy or Mueller going backwards. They always come up with the same phrase, and then they all buy in and use the same phrase. But I think the important point you pointed out in your monologue was, if you've decided that what the president did was going after his political rivals, then I get it. That's the language used. If you believe that the president was talking to a president who just got elected that said he was going to root out corruption, which is what Zelensky had, and a president who was saying, I'm not going to hand over a bunch of money unless we can prove that this guy is serious about investigating and rooting out corruption. If you look at it that way, then I say, wow, he actually did what he's supposed to be doing, which is not handing over U.S. tax dollars. Two quick points that I think I want to make that are sleight of hand. You put it up there. One, the president ran on a whole host of things, moving the embassy, cutting taxes, regulations, veterans care. Done. Okay? The Democrats ran in 2018 and said, if you give us the House, here's what we'll do. And you talked about it in your monologue there. Not done. In fact, done completely the opposite. Had a bunch of hearings, did everything to not accomplish this. That's the binary choice that this is election about. And that's the big issue that has gone down. The second thing is, when you go back to the nut of this, think about what we're talking about now. This entire week, we've talked about impeachment. They have gotten us off of talking about what Joe Biden and Hunter Biden did. It's brilliant in a way. It's total sleight of hand. It's exactly what they did. They said, elect us, and we'll focus on this. And then they went, here's the impeachment over here. The story was, what did Joe Biden know? What did Hunter Biden do? How much did they get out of it? How did it affect U.S. policy? And the next thing they go, well, we're going to have an impeachment hearing. Focus over here. They've done it successfully twice. And that's what they're trying to do, is get the American people to forget the bottom, the nut of both of these. On both cases.